Today we'll be learning the state board haircut, and we're going to begin with our perimeter section. So our first step is going to be to part a profile center part on the mannequin. You do not have to clip it off, just twist it to the side for now. So we need to extract the perimeter from this hair. So I have a simple little technique that we're going to use. You notice the hairline kind of has a C shape, the ear has a C shape, and then there's a straight line across the back nape. So what we call this is CC line. I'm going to put my finger here to aim my comb to C. Then I'm going to make another C around the ear. And then we'll take a straight line across the back. Once you do that quickly, just re-examine this section to ensure that you're about a half to 3/4 of an inch back into the hairline. You do not want any pieces that are too thick to cut through with a razor. So now we will secure this top hair. And go to the next side. Pull the hair in a lower side ponytail. C. C. Make that one just a little bigger. Then line across the back. Then you will get the top hair on this side all the way. So now I have extracted the perimeter, which is equal all around the hairline. Our next step is to cut a few cheater guides through the hair so we can ensure that our round perimeter is even. I like to measure the front piece first to see how much needs to be removed, and then go to the back. A lot of times your mannequins are a little shorter through the back. So I will cut this hair to the length of my comb. So my first cheater guide is going to be right in the center. It will be a little 1/4 of an inch sliver on each side of that profile part. And we're going to use a razor to cut the perimeter so that we can show State Board that we can use our razor safely. So before we cut this, we're going to measure from the hairline out. And just take a note of how much hair needs to be cut. And then I slide just a little bit so I can get the correct length, and I push my razor through in a C shaping, remeasure. And now I have my first cheater guide, the length of the comb. Now I will go to the front center, a little 1/4 of an inch on each side of the profile part. Do not measure from the top, always measure from the under hairline. Hold it out at finger length depth. So there's how much I need to cut off. Once I cut, measure again. This could take just a little more off. The next cheater guide will be right here at the point of the sideburn. I'm going to lift that hair out of the way so you can see it. Ensure that you don't pull this straight down. We're going to pull this forward so we can think about our continued round line. under. After you cut, check. Now we will go to the opposite side. The little point here at the ear, the sideburn. Small piece. I'm still going to hold this at the angle with the jawline. Come in here and measure. And then I would be standing in front, just measure that and cut. Check it for accuracy. So now, as you notice, I have my blue cheater guides through this whole perimeter. So I can begin cutting. We're gonna start in the back because it's an easier angle to begin cutting. This is gonna be not totally straight parallel to the floor. You will begin straight, but it will have a slight bow as you approach the corners. So now I will come down, find my guide through the center, and then I will start connecting. As the guide slips through my hand, my razor gets to the hair and cuts. I can always measure to see if I'm on track. As I go around, when we're cutting our guides, we need to measure at each section. Go through, and I'm going from side to side, measuring, checking to see if you're on the right path here. So when I get to the corner, you can measure the last time at the point of this corner on your mannequin, but at that, after this edge, you cannot measure because of the recession of the ear. So this will be my last measuring on the back. I'm pulling this around where it would be natural falling into the front. And I'm going to go ahead and stop here at this corner and go to the front. And I will come down to the ear guide, and then we will just connect across the ear. So now we're going to go to the front. When we do the front, we do not come in here parallel to the floor and start cutting. We need to cut this like an angle, like an A face frame, so that it will flow rounded with the way the mannequin's hair is put in. So what I like to do is I like to find my guide here at the ear and my guide here, and then just draw a visual of what that looks like. So I know that I'm aiming for that piece there. So I'm going to start on my left side if I'm right-handed, because it's a little easier. And as I go, I need to hold my fingers at a diagonal. Never let your fingers become parallel, because that would make this a square cut. And when you hold them at a diagonal, your razor needs to come in at a diagonal. So when that piece, you saw that slip through my hand, immediately as that slips through my hand, my razor's here ready to begin cutting. And I slide through and I take my razor like a half C. So I can measure. Just need a little bit more of that. Okay, now I'm at the recession. I do not measure there. So I need to start looking for my other cheater guide so I can connect this point to this point here. So I'm not going to go up here and measure any of the recession. I bring the hair down and I let both pieces stick out equal amounts, and I come in and razor through and connect that. Okay, now I'm gonna go to this side and do the same thing, but my arm's gonna have to come up a little bit so I can get the correct angle. If I keep my hand down, it's gonna be real easy to flatten this side out. Take this first like inch, inch and a half. Measure. As that leaves my hand, I cut through. And I like to always double check that I am balanced from side to side as I go. So I'm at the recession. Do I measure? No, we do not measure there. I begin looking for my previously cut cheater guide, and then I'm able to take this and connect those. Check from side to side. So now we have the front face frame rounded and cut. And when we look at the back, we have this portion cut. So I like to bring this down at a natural fall with her head down and look and see where I need to cut in the middle. And this mannequin doesn't have a lot of hair through here, but there's a few. So now I'm connecting this corner piece and this ear point and continue my line down, and I do not measure. And my hand is still gonna be at an angle. Do the other side. Head down. The back corner at the nape, in the front, and you can see a little more how I do have some hair to cut there. Do not measure, connect the lines, but I'm always holding the two shortest points in my hand so I can see that I'm connecting. And then before I go on, one last check around the perimeter to ensure everything is equal. Because if I do not have this, this is my first guide, and if all of this is not equal, then my haircut will not be equal. Stand in front just to check real quick. I'm gonna look at this side one more time. Okay, we're done.